Well, hello, creatives, community, and kind folks. It is RPG with DBJ, and I am your host, DBJ. I hope we are having an excellent signal today. I did send out the link so you guys will know that we're going live yet again on a daily basis. Right now, I'm a spit's distance away from the Galaxy's Edge. Right now, I'm in the lobby of the Crown Plaza Hotel. Going live to you guys normally in the whole geekosphere and the whole RPG business. But um, that's a side note because I thought it would be really cool to sit down here in the lobby. So, hey, Cam, what's going on there, man? Now, I hope the audio is coming through pretty good. We've been having some issues, but there's a pretty strong signal here now that I'm in the Central Florida. Just like I said, I'm a arm's distance away from Galaxy's Edge. So normally I would be on a cruise right now, and surprisingly, the wife even encouraged me to keep the show going because normally, thanks a lot, man. Yeah, normally at this point, my wife and I would be on a cruise because it's our anniversary, 13 years. But she encourages me to remain in the community, so it's really cool that she allows me to do this kind of stuff. So of course, I got my best friend back here, one of the little dark blue BB-8 here to help me out on this show. All right, let's get back into our theme though, because our theme, which stream was just broken yesterday. There was just no way. But the theme yesterday was about like us making fun of D&D magic and first level magic and all that kind of stuff. So I thought we would just continue to talk on that. Now, one area I wanted to go towards, and we were hinting upon it yesterday, was, or maybe the day before, it doesn't matter. We were hinting upon it, was that some of the most helpful capabilities in Dungeons and Dragons might be the worst for society. Um, I know you guys have heard the term, you give a man a fish and he can eat for a day, but if you teach him the fish, he will, you know, will never starve, right? And however, there's different ways people form that kind of that analogy, and some of the more powerful, even though they're first level and they're cantrips, could pretty much ruin society. Now, when you talk about the most helpful spells, and when I say helpful spells, I don't just mean healing, although healing does have its own problems, but like anything that heals, feeds people, encourages people to go beyond themselves, protects people on a larger scale, really might have people forget to do the things that they normally should be doing. Um, I made fun when we were doing, because we're going to go back into the cutting class next week, but I was talking about the bard and the bardic inspiration, in that you may not like the bard and what they have to say, but if you take to heart the things that they do, if you're inspired by them, you become a better person. And on the surface, that sounds actually pretty good, to have someone around you that can give you capital letter G guidance, or capital R resistance, or when you're injured, have someone come by and just with their own holy words, or raising their hands or touching your wounds, that you'll become you'll be healed of everything that you have. And even today we have, and not to make light of it, but we have faith healers today. We have people who speak to others so that we can um, go down a path of a better, more spiritual life for ourselves, to become more centered. And it is it's probably in the tens of billions of dollar industry. I'm pulling that number out of my ass, but I'm pretty sure it's in the billions of dollar industry of the self-help, find a mentor, go to the conference, go away to the to the office meeting to learn how to become more centered and whatnot. So if you have these individuals walking around, excuse me, um, who just make your life easier by listening to them, it's a pretty good chance that people will forget to do the things, to learn the things. It's very difficult. Like, I'll tell you right now, do I know how to hunt for rabbit, or like, hunt in the wild? No. But if somebody were to able to point the way to the supermarket, that's our modern society, but it's also my laziness, right? So I think the same thing would happen with spells like guidance. Now, for those who don't know, like the guidance spell, you get a temporary bonus on a skill check over a duration of time, if I'm not mistaken. I believe the resistance spell gives you a bonus on a saving throw over a particular amount of time, and you have to go back to that person for them to then air quotes guide you back into your positive nature, which means that as society starts to use their skills, carpentry, hunting, investigation, medicine skills, when you have this cadre of individuals more or less religious who are around you, you become a better society. The issue, the the great thing about that is you're going to find that first of all, we don't need to right now, but you have to understand, like, why would a religious institution allow, or how could it be possible that dozens, hundreds, thousands even have the ability to spread this religious styled clerical magic around willy-nilly? Now someone pointed out quite bluntly and pretty maturely, like, wait a minute, DBJ, maybe you're wrong, because the gods want their power to spread. They want to show evidence that they exist. They want more followers, which makes perfect sense to me. I think it was you, Cam, that said, well, why wouldn't they allow strangely to say, the use and abuse of their own magics, because it proves their existence, and it proves that there should be um, they should have an influence in the world. And I absolutely agree with you on that. Point taken. I love it. And so what would happen is, you imagine these religious figures, proctors, bishops, agents, or what have you, standing around people who are building monuments to the sky, building um, great features in cities, aqueducts, and even artistic endeavors. All of them would have a bonus. Yeah, they thought they were good, but given this guidance, they become even better. But you can kind of see where the downfall comes in, because not only would these city states have great power, great influence, enormous. I think the population centers would double, triple, maybe grow by factors of 10. Um, you would have even if the people aren't classically religious, dressing in robes and bowing down to the gods, they at the minimum would give lip service, tithe, of course, give honor to. We do this. We do this a lot, where we christen a ship or something. At a minimum, people would do that. But then comes in the power of the people who have the ability to grant this guidance, who have the ability to say a few words and heal you of your wounds and stuff. And I think, sure, this sounds more religiously inclined, but I guess it would be in antithesis to like the arcane area where we were talking about wizards and stuff. But the question comes, do you really how well of a, let's say, a carpenter do you need to be when someone can stand near you or by you, or just put their hand on your shoulder, or say a few words of contrition or what have you, for you to be a better carpenter? A bonus of like +1 to +4 doesn't seem like a lot, but in our society, if someone told you you could get you were 10% greater around this person than you weren't, I think eventually you would notice the change, and others would notice that change too. Or because you're rolling a die, even the gamble that you're about to participate in the sport, or you're about to go into battle or war, or you're about to hunt for food, that just by closing your eyes and kneeling near this individual, that you become this better person, just like the bless spell, right? Even meta wise, even in game, the bless spell is probably one of the best pound for pound benefits you could ever get in the game. And I think society would benefit from that. But of course, what we tend not to look at is, like, why would these people be doing this in the first place? Cameron says guidance could help some people get out of their lack of confidence if it was provided by a professional confidence therapist. Yeah, a little boost to help you understand the basics and see yourself do it. Yeah, I see. The thing is, Cam, like I love the way you put that because it's so benign. But you and I know, come on, you and I both know how dangerous that can be because who we're assuming that the person doing that doesn't have an agenda, right? So both the person who's lacking confidence now, but there is a danger of sending someone into dangerous situations or someone who's ill prepared, right, into a situation that they aren't prepared for. You know, um, I'm just making an example. Someone's building a skyscraper and they're scared of heights. Sure, it sounds like a good thing. Like, let's talk them into going up to the highest spire and putting the rod on the spire at the highest point. But maybe they aren't really prepared, right? And so I think culturally there comes, other people might look at them like, what do you mean you won't climb up to the spire? We're building a monument to the gods. What are you, a scaredy cat? And I could see society being like having a society having changed their ways to make people who have difficulties in life and aren't skilled and don't have the confidence, make them seem even lesser than they are. I mean, we already know that Andrew Martin's like, test time, guidance pill, no need to study. Hell yeah. Yeah. Why study when I'm better when I get the guidance, right? I mean, that's my point. Like, there's this weird like spiral as you start going up. There's other people coming back down the other side of the hill because do I really need to study if I could just take a pill to be better at it? That there you go with drugs, drug addictions and stuff. Cam's like, oh my God, guidance is Adderall. Yep, it sure is. Just pop it on it. Now I can't remember honestly off the top of my head, except for clerics. I can't remember who else has access to guidance, but it would be pretty funny though. Um, yeah. Hey, is Mofa. Mofa says I can see mental illnesses involving guidance addiction. Yep, or being too afraid to make any decisions without guidance being cast first. That's where I'm headed. Like, okay, you have these individuals who stand around. Let's say there's a park and there's a person at the park. They're raising their arms. The young lady's like, "Hey, everybody, get together. Let's close our eyes and think about what we intend to do for our day." And you're just like, whatever. I'm I'm a expert carpenter. What do I need to be around them for? And the society might look at you like you're the outsider. Like, why wouldn't you benefit from being given a little inspiration, a little guidance in your actions? And you're like, I don't need anybody to tell me what to do. I'm an expert carpenter. And no matter how many times you say that, there's probably a less skilled person who, given a little bit of guidance, is going to be just a little bit better than you, unless you literally divorce yourself completely from this part of the society. And why would you? If I've got a +3 bonus and I'm walking around with this +3 bonus because I think I'm a badass, maybe I might get a +7 bonus. And I get it. It's not a outside the game. Yeah, in the game we know what the numbers are, but in the game you're just that much better. Why would you give that up? And so I love it, Mofa. Like, you start having like addiction to needing this person, which brings about this fact. Maybe this becomes the weak link in society. So you come into the city state and it's got the cleanest water. It's got the best city services. It is the most secure. Why is it the most secure? Because when the city guard runs around looking for criminals, they have a bonus on their investigation checks, right? Their persuasion checks to uncover who committed a crime. There could be criminal organizations who are given guidance to perform, become confidence artists and divorce people of their coin. I mean, people would just be better at what they're doing. And then all of a sudden, here's the weak link. This smaller cast of people And like I said, it might be dozens, it could be hundreds, it could even be thousands that are offering the guidance. They become the weak link because you take them out and everybody else feels lesser for it. Um, Comparatively, right? It's where they would lack the confidence. So in like war, taking those individuals out first would probably be the first thing you do. Bribing them, blackmailing them, spreading a disinformation, um, uh, spreading a disinformation mission where you go in and you start lying about who they are and what they're doing. Of course, they're pedophiles. You didn't know they were pedophiles, and they're like, "I didn't hear they were pedophiles." Yeah, yeah, you didn't hear that. Although an enemy city state would have their own guidance individuals helping me perform disinformation on the other city state who has their own guiders, whatnot. That could get a little complicated. Andrew says, a new kind of caster, the alley mage, for all your magical for all your magical needs. Get high on eagle splendor. Get rid of the bad trips with lesser restoration. Also, unmarked magic missile wands. Unmarked magic missile wands. But that would, you know what? An alley mage? Why not? Why not? Hell, the, the society probably, well, guidance does help other magic casters. Yep. Mofa says every politician will pick up a level in Bard for friends and vicious mockery. Hells yes. I heard a political speech and my nose started bleeding. I don't understand. Oh, that would just be incredible. That would be the the political debates would just have like unconscious people around, all like doing things they would never have done in their normal personal life. Wait, oh, wait a minute, that already happens. Hmm, we're a little too closer to reality than I think a little bit. But you guys get it though. It would be pretty, it would be pretty incredible because I think in the on the surface it it would look like this would be a well-oiled machine, but I think that it would be easy to find the cracks in the wall or cracks in the foundation, so to speak. Now, Cameron says on the other side of the coin, I could see guidance being used to um, to help people with mental illnesses and or physical disabilities, but it would take some seriously lawful good clerics to control it. Yeah, yeah. Like I said, I think from the outset, I think it would take a little bit longer for this kind of society to collapse because y- you would only be surrounded by the best of the best. People who, like you said, people with mental illnesses or physical disabilities would be, I don't want to say superhuman, but they would be achieving the greatest levels of the greatest levels of their capabilities. And seen from afar, if you come from like a plain old village, you don't have anybody there that's got any arcane powers, and you come to this major city and you see this like one-armed swordsman who's like a badass, and you see somebody in a wheelchair who's like barking orders and getting these monuments constructed, or you see someone who self hey, maybe in this society this would be one of the few societies in a fantasy medieval realm where there are no stigmas attached to what we today consider human weaknesses. That would be pretty interesting because for a long time, we didn't consider the stigma of um, mental illness is fading today, but this could fade in a fantasy realm where people literally go to meetings to talk about their problems, where soldiers come back from war to discuss just the shredding of their psyche by seeing such horrible things, which again becomes a societal force multiplier when you don't have people suffering from PTSD, or at least not as much, where you have the greatest of your individuals performing at their highest levels. And I think that would just be awesome. I just think it might be multiple generations of before the downfall happens, because look what honor, what privilege you would have if you were the person giving guidance to all these other individuals, right? Now, how easily would that power go to your head when so many people are coming to you, much like today with internet influencers? Hell, I'm online myself, right? If people started kissing my ass, how long would it take for me to turn into an arrogant son of a bitch, right? It wouldn't take too long. I think I would throw it in people's faces and abuse the hell out of it. And why wouldn't somebody do that? It's like winning the lottery, right? How many? I don't know if you guys see this from around the world, but like periodically they'll throw up on TV like the um the worst lottery winners. Hey, they've gotten this great benefit, but look how easy it is for them to abuse it. Uh, Mofa says, I wonder if people that refuse the prolific use of cantrips would be like fantasy medieval Amish. Ooh. Quote, oh, it's one of those people. They don't use magic. Must be rough without good berry and guidance. Yeah, maybe. I think you're being really kind with that, Mofa. I think you're being really kind with that description because, yeah, maybe they would be the Amish of the world. Um, the the outsiders, but looked at benignly, like, oh, they're no threat to us because, and maybe I hate to, I'm not casting this as any negative against the Amish, but maybe these people that refuse like the guidances and these other spells and stuff, the good berries of the world, maybe they're just not able to get a foothold in society because of maybe they have such a limited population center and they just never able to get above the above that glass ceiling. So I could see them, instead of them being wiped out, they're just like, parents are having a big talk with the long talk with their sons and daughters about not joining this outlying group because they'll never get ahead. I could see good berry wine and good berry pies being made everywhere. Even healing. Like, do you think people would become greater daredevils if they knew that there was someone sitting back to heal them? People inject themselves with steroids. Hey, let's go back to that guidance pill. Pop some Adderall guidance pill to get through the day. I mean, if you knew there were people waiting to heal you, if you fell off a cliff or stumbled and broke your ankle, or hell, just ran into battle and you could be instantly healed, would you have a greater sense, a bless spell over a bunch of you and your comrades about to sneak into an enemy encampment or hunt down criminals or something? Do you think you would have a greater sense of adventure, or do you think it would be the opposite where, you know, well, now Andrews brings up a good point. A diet based on good berries should atrophy the digestive system. Ooh, maybe their mouths and their fingers are stained purple from eating it so much that from such a young age, parents squeezing the little good berries into the mouths of their children to the point that they become teenagers and it literally changes the color of their fingernails and you get that like that good berry stain that never comes out around their mouth. Their tongue is, I don't know what color a good berry is. I'm assuming it's purple. But yeah, maybe they're unable to digest other foods. So they are, you know, you could get to the point where there's a good berry patch, but in order to get your weekly supply of good berries, you're asked to do things, pretty diabolical things you would do. Cam's like, been watching the arrogance leak out of the YouTuber lately. It's been kind of funny, but also disappointing. I had to leave my first dislike ever on his last video. Man, that video had a bad message. Yeah, listen, dude, what I'm about to say is a squirrely segue, but it really does have to deal with what we're talking about. Um, I could, and you guys know that the algorithms for hate speech, when I say hate speech, I don't just mean in our own society, but I'm talking about like the top 10 things that I hate, the top 10 things that don't work, um, the worst things of all of the negative nannyisms always get clicks. They always get likes. And it's pretty easy for one of so not just one, even me, some of your favorite YouTubers out there, people out there, and to just go down this dark path of, like, what is his name? Shad from Shadiversity, does a ton of worse things, terrible things I don't like, things that you don't understand that are bad for you. Those things get tons of clicks. They get thousands, and a lot of people join them because it's like, yeah, I hate that too. Blah. And why I think this relates to like first level spells, cantrips, and such is because um, emotion is an adrenaline is a powerful fuel for getting things done. And if you can get under someone's skin, if you get them triggered, if you can get them to love, hate, have fear in their heart, to get their adrenaline going with whatever emotion, you'll get a lot of power from that. And I they don't say this in the rules, but spells like guidance and resistance and bless and so on, I think are useful because the person starts to think back on what was said to them and they get that bonus. And what is it that was said to them? What inspired this individual to be a better dancer or carpenter? Here we go with the carpenter, leather worker or teacher, or I don't know, scout. I'm trying to think of all the D&D skills without naming them specifically. What makes a person a better midwife or acrobat or pickpocket or something, right? You think back on it. Now, here, I brought this up before. I don't know how, okay, we're about 25 minutes in. All right, so I brought this up before. What if, how do we meta the idea of receiving a benefit from people you don't like? Um, Evil priests or good good lawful good people going into a community of despots and sycophants and backstabbers, and a lawful good person going into a neutral evil community, handing out guidances and blesses to one day change the way they think. Because how easy would that be, right? A good person goes into a bad community, they start speaking, people become better, they start listening to the person spouting those words. Maybe that first generation is like, "Pfft, well, it was a fluke," but maybe the young people from that second generation start going, like, maybe I should be listening to the lawful good, neutral good, chaotic good, um, religious individuals, even though I'm neutral evil, because they are guiding me to become a better person. But the same thing goes the opposite direction, right? So when evil goes into a good community, starts encouraging them to become better than they are. And then we've got ourselves like the slow alignment conversion because they find that if I listen to this person, maybe I should listen a little bit more intently. Um, Cameron says, imagine you're an up and coming leader. Imagine casting ghost sound in a crowd with the spell sounding like other people getting upset at the things that you were talking talking hate about to stir the crowd. Oh, hell's yes. I love that ghost sound, but like, why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you? You could work a crowd in so many ways using like thaumaturgy, to spread your voice amongst the crowd so your voice is always heard over everyone else's. You could use, like you said, ghost sound to make it sound like there's other people in the crowd who are um, who are co-signing everything you're saying. They're always doing like, yeah, right, yeah, you know, or even you could even change. Heck, how many times have we changed our mind about things just because we're uncomfortable? Like, you go to have a great speech and someone starts handing out good berries to everyone, and they're like, "Oh, thanks." And now all of a sudden you're starting to feel a little bit better about yourself. You're like, "I got a full stomach. I got to eat yet another good berry." I love good berries because I've had them since I was age 3, and you start having these, you start reminiscing about these good things, and then this person is starting to talk, and maybe they're not the best speaker, but you came out of it with a good feeling, right? Although I suppose you could have someone speak and you hate everything they have to say, yet you still receive the mechanical benefit of having guidance in the first place. Like, I'm never going to listen to what that person has to say ever. I'm going to do the opposite and think you're better for it. That would be, I guess you could play like this is weird to say, but like you could play an opposite bard and opposite cleric. Like, you mechanically nothing's changed, but everything you say, people do the opposite. You should be scared to go out into the wild. You should be scared to build, to be a carpenter. That is the worst occupation you should ever have. No one ever has gotten anywhere being a carpenter, and all of a sudden you're like, F you, dude. Wait till you see what I build. I'm gonna build a structure to the skies, or I don't know, but it would be pretty ridiculous. Now, when it comes to, we also didn't. I got to be the negative nanny here again, picking with Joseph Keenan because he was picking with me about being a negative nanny, but um, we're assuming that these people doing this are doing it out of the goodness of their heart. But what if they themselves are being manipulated, or they have their own agenda? Like, if you could hand out, guidance as Adderall, are you going to hand that out to everybody? Maybe you're a mercenary. Maybe you just hand it out to the person who pays you, or only a certain class of people. Maybe you only hand it out to certain racial types, or legacy types. Hey, I only hand this out to people from the North. I mean, I'm a Northerner. Ooh, that's terrible broadcasting. Sorry about that, guys. So, or what if maybe you just don't feel like doing it anymore, or you surround yourself with sycophants, right? Like, sure, I could bless you, but why do I want to unless you stroke my own ego to make me better, like to make me feel better? I don't need any mechanical advantages. I just want you to, I want you to, you have a pretty cute cousin. What's his name? I'd like to. Hey, Night Girl. Night Girl's like, oh, bless you. See that, Night Girl? You made me a better person just by saying that. Now the next thing you got to do is connive out of me something that you want. Now, Andrus Martin says in Pathfinder there is a first level spell that implants an idea or thought in the target, making them believe that it is his. This could help a lot and destroy a lot. Wait a minute. Why did you all cap the word destroy? But you're right. If you implant, heck, maybe just even doing something like that as someone goes to sleep and they think about it, they're like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, why would we take down the leadership? And you're like, listen, I just want to talk to you. I just want to put the idea in your head, but don't look at me. And then all of a sudden they go to sleep, and when they wake up, they have stacked like bless, hypnotic implant. Man, I wonder how many of those spells. Okay, 5th edition doesn't allow you to stack spells, but you can suffer. Wow. You can benefit from unrelated spells that have similar effects stacked one on top of each other. You could take a 0-level human and make them pretty good, pretty awesome with guidance, resistance, bless. I can't think of the other spells. False life. Oh man, there's plenty that are like going off of my brain now. Hey, Caius, Caius, what's going on? Knowing guidance is a clear sign that the caster has been chosen by the divinity to serve the public. Those who waste their time in magical and selfish magics betray their god and people and must be brought to justice. You make a point there, because of course we're talking about using and abusing magics, right? But why would divinities allow someone to use this? Now, clearly, like you said, someone who knows how to guide, capital G, guide people to become better, would automatically have a faith that's strong enough for them to rationalize why they're doing it. And Andres is like, yeah, unless there's a rogue with a wand of guidance. You're so silly. But you're right. We are assuming the tenets of a faith that is willing to hand out guidance willy-nilly, but they're going to want the population to adhere to particular religious guidelines. And now, mind you, you might have different city states. Like I said, the use of guidance makes people better, which means their communities are going to be better. They're going to their skill, their level of skill is going to be that much higher. But there are going to be demands. There are going to be religious demands in behavior simply by virtue of all these people with guidance. And remember, maybe there becomes a little bit of a brain drain. Okay, so follow me on this. People, let's say you're a farmer. Um, it, Classically, if you're a farmer, your family grows up, your family is supposed to start farming as well, because that's the lessons they teach. But I wonder how many people would leave their communities, would not pick up the family, would not extend the family business to become an individual who becomes faithful, who then learns guidance. So I could see these societies becoming greater for it, but losing their legacy at the same time. The destruction of tradition in the classic sense of, hey, I raise horses, so I'm going to raise horses myself. The family line might break and shatter, and then it just becomes this faithful line where you become the brother, the sister, the embraced of the faith, instead of being having an attachment to your mom, dad, uncle, brothers, and sisters. Which again, that we start, you can start to extrapolate the thin chain of society where these religious figures and of guidance might be the thin. That's where the chain can break. If you destroy them, you destroy everybody else. Um, Now, Night Girl says, or a Night Girl, because there's plenty more out there, but one of the Night Girls who happens to be here, thank you very much, says, I kind of want a mini campaign where this idea of only cantrips and first level spells exists to see what happens. You see, Night Girl, you're with me because of course we're talking ridiculous stuff, right? We're talking geeky stuff, but yeah, I feel like if you take enough of this and spread it around like a really good seasoning that you haven't like sensed before. Like I've never used saffron before in a meal, but I feel like if the day that I use it, I'll probably be enhanced by it. And you could spread this around to so many places where the PCs go from city to city, town to town, village to village, and this extrapolation that we're doing is filling the world in these little pockets. Now, um, yeah, Night Girl says you'd have to have 100% buy-in from everyone involved. Yeah, to only have cantrips and first level spells. Yeah, because I can see already people balking at that idea, but you would have to have 100% buy-in. By the way, I raised my hand. I'll join that. I'm down with that. Um, Cameron says, "Oh gosh, could you imagine a wand of cure light wounds on the farm? You get beat up, cut, poked, bit, and busted out there. Plus all the other dangers of living out that far would make. Oh shoot, it moved. Sorry. Would make it valuable. It would make. I think it would make it more than valuable, unless there's a dark side to healing. There's a dark side to healing. Don't get it twisted, there, dude." Um, Andrew Martin says, "Take a look at Eberron. It's low level magic used as everyday commodities, and high level magic reserved for the elites and corporations." Yeah, Eberron is based on like Eberron is based on what we're talking about without the destructive part of it, right? In Eberron, you have like arcane locks that are very common. You have light spells that light city streets. You have floating discs that people use to carry goods or nobles on and things like that. So Eberron is based on what we're talking about with more of the good stuff. Because remember, you still have to play in the world. If you destroy everything, it's kind of, I suppose you could make it post-apocalyptic, or at least, would the term pre-apocalyptic be a good one, where the player characters see the downfall about to happen and there's nothing they can really do about it? I don't know. That'd be kind of cool though. Now, here's the dangers of healing, right? Okay, so soldier goes out into battle They look back at the banners being waved by the faithful. They're filled with this like they're filled with this joy, this passion, this righteousness that they're going into battle to do the right thing. They go out in the battle and their friends are slaughtered. They come back, their inter, their organs ripped out of them, their leg is shattered and just hanging willy nilly. They come back and then someone stands over top of them and with their words and phrases heals them of their wounds and they're ready to go back into battle yet again. Battle number 6, battle number 7, battle number 8. Healing magic doesn't heal the mind; it just heals the body. At least that's how you could frame it. And maybe the pain, the damage, the um, bloodletting of all their friends and family and loved ones going into battle and being put into the meat grinder. Maybe they don't want to go back into battle, and when they go back to their when they go back to the encampment, they don't want to be healed. They want to go home. They don't want to eat a good berry, get smacked on the ass with a heal spell and thrown back into the meat grinder again. Maybe they don't want to do that psychologically, but they're forced to. And there's nothing in healing magic that says that you don't feel the pain. It just says you're healed from your wounds. So getting stabbed through the gut with a spear does not feel good. And maybe they're just unable to recover from that kind of thing. That'd be kind of cool for a bunch of soldiers like, please don't, please don't. And the person's like trying to heal them. And the soldier's like, no, not me. And Kaya says, if you cast guidance, society will enslave you. Yeah, because once you start doing it, you can't stop, right? You know, hey, Mistress Alondra, please guide me to a better thing. Mistress Alondra's like, I just need some sleep. I've been up 18 hours every day. This is enough. Stop. People knocking on her door like, Mrs. Alondra, please. My father is having trouble on a farm and I need some guidance, please. Kaya says if Goodberry predates agriculture, would agriculture develop? Oh, you mean like, so what if the spells were a part of nature and we learned to find them? So Goodberry is a natural part of the environment. Like you could just go find a Goodberry bush and pick a Goodberry, and druids only learned to create good berries because good berries existed. It's like the chicken and the egg, right? It wasn't druids that created good berries. It was good berries that helped give druids that ability. Maybe agriculture doesn't. Well, okay. Here's the idea. Maybe agriculture only happens because other people are destroying or burning or stealing or poisoning other good berry farms or orchards or something that grow naturally. Now, I could see that happening in a tribal society, hunting gathering. That makes a lot of sense with hunting and gathering societies, that they would never have a need to create agriculture when all they need to do is harvest enough good berries, although you wouldn't be able to survive the winter. I think a good berry is ineffective after 24 hours. Kaya says receiving a wand is no different from receiving a cantrip. It is still a sign that the gods want this individual to be a slave to society, another form of guidance slave. Yeah. Cam says, I love the idea of a wizard whose only job is to go around casting light on reinstate signs when the night has fallen on the city street. Quote, I went to an academy. How did it come to this? I need an adventure. Enough of lighting the city streets. I want to get out of here. Night Girl's like, I can't kill this last boss in Dark Souls. Guide me. Guide me. Oh my God. Oh man, you guys are funny. Now, but I'm with you, Caius, that maybe the gods will want people to spread, well, and I'm thinking of like clerics and druids kind of being blended together here. Like maybe the gods want them to do this because it psychologically enslaves them. It really would be an enslavement of sorts where you here's a great power. I dare you not to use it, right? Or here's a great power. You do it for your society. You do it because you want to do it for the right thing, or your people will be greater, or hell, you'll survive another day. And then slowly and surely, you get trapped in this cycle of always needing to do the thing. Hell, that's how people get trapped in drug dealing. Drug dealers, for the most part, think they're going to get into it with some quick cash and get the hell out. They don't get out. The minute you start drug dealing, you're trapped in it because you're constantly supplying. There is no upward mobility, right? There, the wizard casting the light spell, there is no upward mobility. We need you to do it, so you're going to go ahead and do it. And you're like, yeah, but it was my idea to start doing it in the first place. Can't somebody else do it? And they're like, no, because you're perfectly fine doing it yourself. Cam says elaborate signs, not reinstate signs. Sorry, autocorrect. Maybe I need guidance for taping. You know, we don't, like I said, guidance would make an incredibly stable society for a extended period of time. Not the longest time, but incredibly extended period of time, because just, I know you're joking, Cam, but just how many people would say the right thing at the right time? How many people would do what is necessary, or hell, just stumble upon performing the correct skill at the correct time? I think that would just be awesome to have these people who are just like, they're slap assing each other and giving each other the high five when someone's like, I don't know what I'm going to create, but I'm just going to create this thing. And then this carpenter builds this house with these amazing rooms and a finish that's flawless, and hidden rooms and doors, and a floor that you could eat off of, and hey, I'm going to be the first person to make a pocket door that slides in between and slides into the wall in the fantasy realm. And everyone's like, how did you do that? And you're like, I had this idea and I went down the pathway, and just for some reason I was able to wedge the wood together to get the grain to match each other or something. Like, I just think it would just be this great society with like with this terrible thing in the background. Would it be, Cam says, would it be stable long enough for someone to learn Owl's wisdom and Fox's cunning? What level are those? Okay, I didn't state up front what the rules were. That I wanted to stay within the cantrip first level range, just because my own headcanon makes me think that the progression of second level, third level, fourth level wouldn't be as popular. But there would, in order for you, meaning us, to learn those cantrips and first level abilities, there would have to be people higher level enough to teach us. So yes, you could move up the ladder. There definitely would be ladder movement. And I think those people would have extremely influential and important parts of society. They would definitely be a definite gear. I'm not catching that, Glantry. Ran. I don't know. Extrapolate on that if you don't mind. Now, another dangerous dark side of healing is the amount of torture you can apply to someone. Yes, healing is a very good way to torture people, unfortunately, because you could flay their flesh and knit it back together and then flay their flesh again. You could cut someone's tongue out and regrow it and cut their tongue out again. You could scoop out their eye with a dull spoon and then have it regrow again and do the same thing over again. You could take a hammer and splinter their fingers. Now, I say that with a caveat because also healing does have limitations. There are other healing things, like I believe there's only certain healing that will reconnect a severed limb. I think you need lesser restoration to get past some of the side effects of wounds, like paralysis, incapacitation, blindness, deafness, unconscious, like the conditions. I think healing heals hit points, but it doesn't heal conditions. So you would need, you would still need to go to a fantasy hospital to be diagnosed. Um, Medicine plus guidance works really well for that. You would also need someone who can detect like poison and disease, and detect other underlying conditions. So healing could go bad if medicine is ignored, because you could heal in like parasites, you can heal in um, certain afflictions, or there could be an over reliance on healing of the body and not the mind. So you could go down some dark paths with the healing. Like, of course, soldier, you're going to go back in the war. This is, what is this, your uh, 12th campaign? Of course, you're going back, and the soldiers just sitting there with their eyes like dead, just reliving the pain of being butchered over and over again, to be dragged back to the encampment. You can't, person can't even walk. Their back is broken. Their legs have been ripped off. They've been just shot with multiple arrows in their chest. They're barely alive. And this person waves their hand over them. And you see the soldier turn their head, and like a tear just rolls out of their eye, like, no. And they're, maybe, hell, maybe soldiers go into battle with each other so often that they end up becoming friends with the people they're killing or trying to kill, because they keep seeing them over and over again. I don't know. Night girl, a night girl says, "This is being silly, but I'll also guide my web MD search. I don't want to pay my copay." You see people lined up at a crystal ball trying to get like a to go to like a urgent care or something. The local hag or evil naga is like, you know, the PCs break into the naga's hidden enclave and like, we're gonna kill you, and the naga's like, guys, dude, I'm not even into dominating the world. I'm making a fortune with this urgent care thing here. Next patient. Yeah, I've been having this weird thing crick in my wrist. The naga's like, well, you see, I don't have any arms and legs, but here, let me guide you over here to one of our nursing staff. Says, I think your second or third level spells. I think there's second or third level spells in Pathfinder. Going with the guidance addiction, that family of buff spells could be akin to new designer drugs in our world, only for the rich. Oh shit. Yeah, like, so. Uh, I'm sorry, I'm a visual person, so I'm imagining some arrogant noble. Let's name her Deidre. And Deidre gets up in the morning, and when Deidre gets up, she walks past like um, a chicane of casters. One person casts like disguise self or alter self to make her look beautiful. Someone else casts a very low level healing as if to stave off age or something. Like, I only need to heal you one hit point when you wake up in the morning. And then someone else gives her a drink of, or has a bowl of good berries, and she just grabs one casually as she goes by, and Deidre pops one in her mouth. And then she goes past she goes past a priest, a rabbi, and a monk. And each of them, one gives her a bless spell, one gives her guidance, one gives her resistance. That would be, wow, that would be awesome. You know what? I'm with you there, Cam. That would be that would be awesome. And let's continue this. Let's continue this thought. Maybe she puts on jewelry, and each jewel is temporarily enhanced. Like, one medallion is an alarm spell. Maybe there's a ring that has I don't know, some way to hide her thoughts or something. Maybe she puts on earrings. Maybe she puts on an earring that gives like the friendship spell or friend spell or something. Like, that would be awesome. Kaya says a hunter society with enough druids would never need for people to plow, plant, and harvest. Growing food is a hard job, extremely hard, but but a win over hunting because it's a more reliable food source. But Goodberry is even more dependable. I don't disagree with you, dude. Like, could you imagine? I would, I would say that the hunting gathering of good berries would be like battling over depending on how prolific it would be battling over resources. But the people who have those resources would be very powerful. Like, um, maybe there's a tribe of people who are protecting a grove of good berries, and someone else wants to break in, destroy it or collect it, much like Black Panther in Wakanda and the heart-shaped herb, right? Where maybe the community, okay, you could attach it to seasons, periods of time, locations. Maybe good berries only grow in the highest elevations or the dankest swamps or the most overgrown jungles. So you could start to shift it and change it a little bit. Like, what does a good berry look like in the Underdark with Druidic dwarves? Like, is Goodberry a specified thing, or is it a title given to a food that other cultures have that look completely different? Like, maybe an artichoke is completely different than kidney beans, which is different than succotash or something like ambrosia. I don't know. Like, maybe each one of them is different. So you could spread it out. So yes, it would make a perfect. It also makes a perfect reason if you want to have multiple generations of people who never become an industrial society. So yeah, I could see that as well. Um, Mufa says, "What happens to a cantrip or low-level spell-based economy if the gods decide to take it away? Apocalypse." Ooh, yeah. If it, hey, if someone turns off the spigot, hey, listen. When the drug dealer can't sell the drugs, the druggies get a little bit panicky, right? We have that going on in our modern society. People will start feeding on themselves, and since they left home to not continue the family tradition, there we go with our weak link, right? I love it. So we got 3 minutes left. We're coming towards the end here. Um, Mofa says suddenly the fantasy Amish are in power. Hey, well, societies go in cycles. Maybe that's wow. What a cool way to bring it full circle there, Bofa. I love it. I love it. Um, a night girl says, "Can you imagine no light spell, candle making knowledge? Does it even exist?" The clear answer to that is no. I mean, um, night girl like Caius of Glantry even mentioned, like, why would people even learn candle making if if the person in the blue robe walks by and gently touches the little small coin or something that glows on the kitchen table? There would be no reason. Maybe the person with the light spell lights the lanterns that go by, or maybe the person with the light spell knocks on each person's door to tap upon the the small idol that sits at the front door, and it illuminates, and the people bring it inside the house so they can read books or something. I don't know how you would describe it, but it would be awesome. Cam's like, you mean the halflings? Imagine a hobbit with an Amish beard. I love it. I like the Amish beard. I grew up around Amish, living in Pennsylvania. Anyway, Caius of Galantry says the Greek god Prometheus was immortal. Was immortal. Sounds good until you hear his immortality is hanging in chains from a cliff and having his liver ripped out endlessly by an eagle. Yeah, maybe this society, maybe the PCs. Okay, let's bring it full circle as we come to the end here, right? Society is overwhelmed with, like, what we're talking about, like the good berry, the helpful spells. It starts to change, it starts to shift. You have the Amish with the halflings with the Amish beard living in one society, part of society, off in the corner. You have the other group that's creating these big monuments, these massive city states. You have this other group that's living in the wilds who continue their hunting gathering society, but this is an affront to the gods, or maybe the gods are battling over humanity, and one by one the gods start to die off, or at least their voices are not heard. It is the titans being removed by the new Olympians, and the new order starts to take place, and everybody, PCs included, are part of the godlike transition, which makes me think, have we ever had a campaign setting where the PCs are there to witness the old gods being removed and now having to abide by new rules while society starts to tear itself apart? I don't know. I, but you guys know me. I love this stuff. I think a setting built around this, it would be a it would be a variable setting where you have to turn the knobs and things, but I still think, like, a night girl has mentioned, like, you'd have to have 100% buy-in, but I'm definitely with you. I love this kind of stuff. So anyway, guys, Amish beard. By the way, oh, God, I love Amish foods. Oh man, it's some of the great. Many of you who do not live in the states, just do a Google search. A Google search does not do it justice if you look up the Amish, in the United portrayed in the United States. But they are a community that rejects technology, and they are religious, and they build things with their hands, and they hand make all their foods and stuff like that. And generally, there's also Mennonites, which are similar, but they use technology. But whatever the case might be, it's pretty cool. Anyway, guys, thank you very much. I'm a little bit kerfunkled that you guys would even show up. I am literally in the lobby of the Crown Plaza, but there's no one really around here except for people listening to my rantings and ravings while I talk to you guys. But anyway, thank you very much for being here. We will broadcast yet again, because I will be here all week. Well, till the rest of the week on vacation with the wife, celebrating a anniversary. So I love it. Anyway, guys, you guys have a great one. I'm going to go get some breakfast. Everybody else out there, morning, noon, night, crack of dawn, have a great one. I will see thee later. Bye. Have a great. Oh, call to action, please. Thanks for the thumbs up. Please like, share, subscribe, spread the word, follow. This Understand, if you're new, I'm looking at you, Night Girl. This isn't my normal broadcast. The audio is a whole lot better. Kaya says the noble Deidre might demand an augury every morning, but whip her augurs if they see anything other than wheel. You, dude, I'm right there. A noble waking up every morning to have someone read their day's fortune, and if they hear any bad news, it's like, you mother, I will kill, makes perfect sense. A noble, as a matter of fact, if we think about it, okay, sorry, before we get out of here, 0 level humans, okay? Normally, player characters are like, well, they're 0 level, they don't know nothing, right? We can kill them willy-nilly. We can, murder hoboing. But why wouldn't a society that has magic rely on cantrips and first level magics to support their lives? If so far as to not perform the part of the non-combatant kind of things, right? Like if a society is erecting a wall for the city state, why wouldn't there be someone giving them guidance? Capital G. If there are soldiers going into battle, why wouldn't there be a person holding up a religious banner to heal them when they come back off the field? Now, we're making the assumption that magic is popular, widespread enough that this would be possible. But if your players are in a world of magic and you're playing in maybe not high, a broad level of magic where low level magics are everywhere, like Eberron, I think it makes perfect sense there would be a floating disc spell used for people to dump garbage on it because they're going to take it down to the garbage where it's being burned on the edge of town. Or the nobles sitting around with, like, what is it? What are some spells? Augury, detect good and evil, protection from good and evil, friend spell. Come on, guys, you know all the list of them, right? Why wouldn't they be there? They would be there. And this noble Deidre who might demand an augury every day might just be a normal thing. And when the player characters realize this, maybe she has plenty of capital A advantages against the PCs, despite being a 0 level human being. So Anyway, guys, have a great one. I love you guys know the whole channel is about us, like pre-game or post-game. We start talking about stuff around the table. And so just spread the word. This is what we do. It's unscripted. Um, Cam says, thanks for the fun. Have a good one. By the way, Cam, to let you know, whenever you sign off, I see all the sign offs and I really appreciate it. So you have a great day as well. Everybody out there, thanks. Deadman and Tesla for sitting around. Caius, thanks for stopping by. A Night Girl, thanks for just being new and finding the channel, and everybody else. Mufa, everybody. I love you guys. So I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great one.